Welcome to it, sports fans. The MKT Show. I am MKT. It is Friday. Well done. You made it. I made it. You made it. We made it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great sporting weekend coming up. There's a big fight this weekend. Uh, oh, Errol Spence, after that horrible accident, is back. He's fighting Danny Swift Garcia. I can't wait for that. Will I wake up for that? If anybody thinks I'm sleeping through that and it's 5 a.m. in the morning, if you think I'm sleeping through that, you are dead wrong. You had better believe you are dead wrong. I cannot wait for that fight. Big weekend. Anthony Joshua next weekend. I can't wait. Then you got Canelo to finish off the year. Callum Smith. That Callum Smith Canelo fight is going to be out of this world. Love Callum Smith. Hey, let's hope we can get Callum Smith on the show because we do have an in there. So cannot wait. Love the boxing. Love everything. Welcome to it. MKT, Gareth Cliff. For those of you watching on the podcast, you can't see that Gareth Cliff is standing on top of a radio because he is, those are those previous days. And quite frankly, Cliff Central is crushing radio. So Cliff Central Sport, welcome to it, the MKT Show. What are we talking about today? It is Friday, of course. It is Friday 5. The huge Friday 5. Cannot wait to give you this one. I'm going to talk about the 5 best current English footballers, and then we'll wrap up. We'll make it short and sweet. We'll wrap up with the North London Derby, because that's this weekend for those who've forgotten, because it's probably become a bit of a mid-table battle. Spurs will tell you they're a top 4 club, but all right. Because I got some good news and got some bad news. We'll see. We'll see how that goes for everybody. All right, let's get into it. Really looking forward to today. I love putting lists together. I love Friday 5. It is probably my favorite thing to do is putting lists together. So as the show moves on, expect a lot of lists, a lot of top 10s, a lot of top 5s. That's how I think I like to keep it simple, stupid, kiss, right? But yeah, sports nerd, so love compiling lists and hearing back from people. Let's get into it. My 5 current best English players. So that's them playing now. They can be playing anywhere, both in England and anywhere else. Actually, this entire list plays in the Premier League, which may come as a surprise to some people. But let's get into it. At number 5, I think he is the new Lampard incarnate, right? He can play 6, 8, 10, goes box to box, can actually, unlike Lampard, has the pace and really the discipline to play on the wing. Doesn't do a great job, but he's functional there. Absolutely brilliant, can cut inside. And so what I love about this young man is he's so responsible with the ball at his feet. I love that. Most young players is what they call in football in general is most young players can't make it. And you see it with Tammy Abraham, with Romelu Lukaku, is they say if your touch isn't clean, what that means is when you receive the ball, it needs to actually be setting up the next movement. And that's next level technical ability. It's tiny little things. If you don't know to look for that, you won't see it. But he's already got that. And there's a new one coming at Chelsea, by the way. His name's Billy Gilmore. Look out for him. Very Paul Scholes-like. He does something called turning it around the corner. And so does this young man. 6, 8, 10. He can get you goals. And he's got a golden pass in him. I think we all saw that in the previous Champions League game for Chelsea. This guy's Mason Mount at number 5, the 5th best English player currently playing. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. At number 5, at the beginning of the season, I said, of all the youngsters that I'm looking forward to in the league, this is the guy I'm looking forward to the most. He showed me something last season, and now you add Carlo Ancelotti, you really start to turn the pressure up because he worked with Shevchenko, right? So he's played with the best. He knows what the best looks like and what it actually is. He's not going to tolerate nonsense. He had Shevchenko, he had Kaká for all those years. Is if you're up front, do that. Be that. I've done that. I had Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid, right? I've seen what the best is. Not what it looks like, what it is. Right. And for me, this guy, pace, power, and he's got the most important part, and it's tough for young players because he's still young. He's still only 23. This is the toughest part. Again, you're seeing it with Tammy Abraham really struggling at the sharp end. They say finishing is the hardest thing in world football. Right? In football, the toughest thing is putting it in the back of the net. It is the toughest job. It's not even close. That is the pressure, because what happens there is you win and lose. You decide games. Defenses will get you to the brink, but ultimately a 30-goal a season striker will take you over the top. At number 4, pace, power, finishing, and he's got age on his side. He's got everything. Raw pace, raw power. Number 4, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Absolutely love this young man. And I think if they look after him, and he couldn't have a better coach to mold him and ensure that he becomes that sort of Trezeguet meets Drogba vibe, right? Trezeguet obviously touches to goals, probably the most clinical striker of all time. In that Italian league, you have to be that in Italy. Ancelotti knows this. He'll help him with the movement and the touches. At number 3, in terms of being your modern day wing back, I think England and Liverpool have one. Don't love him going backwards, but hey, this is not that time. Not everybody's going to be Philippe Lam. Not everybody's going to be Dani Alves. You can't be the complete product, and he's only 20. He's only 20 years old. He's your modern day wing back, classic, going forward, unstoppable. He's got that David Beckham type of whip it in style, is let the ball beat the man. He doesn't need to get to the touchline to get the right shape on the ball and give his own striker the advantage. He's unbelievable. Plus, he gives you world-class delivery, and he's nasty. He is nasty from the set piece. Ladies and gentlemen, at number 3, the brilliant. He is brilliant. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Really, really, Liverpool have a gem there, and they should be proud of what they've produced, especially in the modern-day game. Perhaps it took a German manager to come and show them what they've got, because English managers, we know they love a back four, and they want right back, left back. They don't love the wing back. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, tremendous young player. At number 2, I think this young man, he's still young, 25. He's 10 years younger than me. It's unbelievable how old I'm getting. But 20 goals for the last 2 seasons. Right, he's been crucial in 2 titles under the most demanding manager of our time, bar Jose Mourinho. I'll let you have it either way. He's now shown that for what he's limited in, because he's rather vertical, but even under Pep, what Pep wants, Pep will not tolerate tactical indiscipline and technical ineptitude. But what technical aptitude means is you don't need to be Andrea Pirlo, right? You don't need to be Eusebio. You don't need to be Ronaldinho. What you need to do is play in your wheelhouse and stick there and perfect that. Pep will work with that because he's stuck with Pedro, right? He's stuck with those guys. Sergio Busquets is in his wheelhouse. He's not trying to be Pirlo or Scholes, or he's in his wheelhouse. Know your technical toolbox and just do that. I think this guy does it brilliantly. 20 goals the last 2 seasons, crucial in 2 titles. And what I really like about him is in all of the seasons at Man City, 30 games or over, he doesn't get injured. The greatest ability is availability. He's been a rock for Manchester City. Whether you like him or not, that's your problem. The numbers scream. This is the second best player England have got right now, Raheem Sterling. There is no competition for this spot. Really, really like what Raheem's done. And to be honest, you got to give it to him. He's become a grown-up. Anybody who watches the show knows I love that. Be a grown-up. And that's hard, man. That is hard. You give young people 10 million pounds a year and you ask them to be a grown-up, that's almost unfair. To those that we elevate, though, it's the grown-ups. Raheem Sterling, sort of, a cantankerous young man is the only way we could describe what he was at Queen's Park Rangers, what he became at Liverpool. Him and his agent, they got their way out. And when you force your way out of somewhere, you better land damn right. Otherwise, we know where that goes. Forced his way out of Liverpool, and he's been dead right all along. He's gone on to win, better managers, and he's become a better footballer. He wanted more responsibility, and he didn't like where Liverpool was going. I think he was dead right. Number 2, right now, Raheem Sterling. At number 1, I don't think it's close. Now, I think actually this is to the detriment of English football because I don't think any one of these are world class. Not one of these guys are world class. Right? But at number 1, and this is just the English players, he's over the last 5 seasons, 2-time Golden Boot winner. Most importantly, he's a 2-time Golden Boot winner. I love that. It was a couple of seasons ago now, and he's always in the running for the Golden Boot in the Premier League. But, and I cannot say this to his credit enough, there has been criticism from everywhere, including people like myself. But he's a grown-up. And I want to talk about this more and more. I'll always talk about this. I say to everybody, and honestly, I don't care how it makes people feel. If you are below the age of 29, 30, it makes me nervous to work with you. Not because I love young people's energy. I love the ideas they have. I'm not an old, I like to try and stay current. Maybe my music tastes are a bit old, but I like to stay current. I like to know what young people are doing. I don't like to work with them. And I get nervous when they're in my personal space because I don't know what you're capable of. Because at that age, you want everybody to love you. I don't like that. Be who you are, be secure in that, and just go with it. If you're a good person, just go and be a good person, right? That's what grown-ups are. Grown-ups understand that I have to do the right thing. Now, doing the right thing in life, right, generally means you're going to have to get rid of a lot of people because not everybody wants to do the right thing 8 out of 10 times. Because doing the right thing means going to bed on time. Doing the right thing is actually, spending time with your wife, spending time with your friends, spending time with your mother. This is what grown-ups do. In sport, doing the right thing is not being the cool guy in the dressing room, right? Not partying, not drinking, staying late, being the first one at training, being by the manager's side when a message is delivered, being the one in the press conferences, whether you win or you lose, you're not emotional, right? You carry the team message, how you dress, how you conduct yourself in public. And I don't think there's been an English figure like this, probably since Gareth Southgate himself. Because the last generation, they were all a bunch of spoiled brats. That's why they never won, right? The so self-proclaimed golden generation. Maybe outside Frank Lampard, who he didn't have the personality though. And I think this guy doesn't naturally have the personality, but he's forced himself to be a grown-up. So good player, good results, good numbers. All right, that takes you a little bit. Grown-up, 2 out of 3. Listen, he's got 24 goals plus for the last 4 seasons as well. So you've got to give this guy credit and say he's delivering. He's doing his part of the deal, right? Is he a leader? Probably not naturally, but he's a grown-up, and I'll take that any time. Plus, he's given me 24 goals a season. Plus, he's always going to be in the race for the Golden Boot. I'll take that. Number 1 English player currently playing, Harry Kane. You don't have to love Spurs. Be a grown-up. Be honest with yourself. He's the best English player right now. He's the best. The most important part of all of this, right? All of these guys have shown me they're grown-ups. All of them are grown-ups. There's going to be people on the list who you want to put on and go, oh, but what about this guy? What is he? Don't give me anyone else. Love to hear, because I know there's people who people want to add. So I'm not going to say any other names because I don't want to suggest that. Put that in the comments. All right, you probably got your own thoughts. Where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? If you're not a grown-up, I don't consider you world-class. I don't consider you class. I don't want you in my team. Because you know what I like in sport? I want to win. Sport's about winning. All right? Recreation is about participation. So you want to send your kids to Montessori. If I have kids, by the way, I'm not thinking of kids right now, but if I do have kids, forget Montessori. They are going to your classic schools. And I am not a proponent, right, of kids should direct their parents. Kids don't know what they want, right? You give kids options. You make them try a lot of things. But one thing that's not negotiable, be a grown-up early, right? Be hard on your kids. I've always said this. Be hard on your kids. Be a grown-up. Your kids must be grown-ups early. The more you have, especially. It's hard if you're poor. I understand that. My family's, I come from a poor family. So it's hard for parents that are poor to spend time with their children. But if you're middle class and up, right, be hard on your kids. Stop trying to be cool and friends with your kids. I don't like that. So young people that are spoiled brats, I was a spoiled brat, get the hell out of here. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not going to have it, right? That's one thing. Get out of here. So I don't want any footballers that are spoiled brats as my best players, right? So that's not going to happen. And then the other part is produce results and win. So you can be a grown-up and win. And of the English players, those are the most grown-up people that are performing at the highest level. I'm intolerant of, like with young people, I'm intolerant of, oh, I'm young, so I should get away with this. You want to work with me, you want to be in my personal space, be a grown-up. Listen, if you're 21, I don't want to hear I was drinking on a Tuesday night. You want to work with me, be a grown-up. Drink on the weekend. I don't want to hear Monday I'm hungover. Because when you pitch up, the lights go on, let's work. Right? Mount, Calvert-Lewin, Alexander-Arnold, Sterling Kane, all pitch up to work, squeaky clean off the field. Right? You need to understand the whole product. I'm sorry, it's not good enough just to be talented. You know what my thoughts are. I think all 5 of those young men are a brilliant representation of professionalism. My kids are not going to Montessori. I'm sorry. It's a lovely thing. And I'm reading a lot about psychology. My mother's heavily involved in research when it comes to early childhood development. Don't give me that. Listen. And she's a psychiatrist. So call her a doctor, call her friends doctors. And I know a lot of people in neuroscience trying to see those early, the golden years, those first 6 years. I'm out. Children, be a grown up, work hard, get a work ethic, put that in your kids early. Go and work and be decent. And these 5 young men, I don't know whether they were raised this way early, but you see them now. Raheem Sterling has turned it around, and I love that story because he was on a trail, right? But Raheem said, not me. No, sir. I'm a grown up. I'm going to Man City. And you have not heard a peep out of his agent, right? You have not heard a peep out of his mother. It was becoming a problem at Liverpool. But now, and what I love about Raheem Sterling, I just want to speak on him because he catches a lot of flack, is when you get money, then I get to see who you are. And what I love about Raheem Sterling is he went to Man City, got his money. What did he do? Agent, be quiet. Mom, be quiet. Family, be quiet. Football. Pep Guardiola, coach me hard, and I'm here every day. Under every coach, Raheem Sterling has been at the center. He's been a centerpiece. But under Pep in particular, he's been a grown-up, put me in, and Pep's not mucking about. He can see Sterling probably early in, last out, and doesn't get injured. That's a grown-up. And I love that about Raheem Sterling. I love it even more considering what his teenage years were like, and they could have gone anywhere. Harry Kane, 5-star character. Right? Sterling got his money, became a grown-up. Kane got his money. He's been a grown-up his whole career. Alexander-Arnold, he's on his way. It's early, but he's the third best player, English young player playing right now, of all English players. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think they've got a Drogba light if they look after him and really push him. I think Ancelotti will be perfect. And Mason Mount, I think, is just waiting to be Frank Lampard. Once he gets a man body, he is Frank Lampard. Quickly give that list to you once more. At number 5, Mason Mount. Number 4, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. At number 3, Trent Alexander-Arnold. At number 2, Raheem Sterling. At number 1, Harry Kane. That is the best 5 English players right now. That is the Friday 5. Your top 5 English players currently playing football right now. All right, let's move on. Big weekend. Love it. Rugby's back, by the way. Currie Cup. So I'll probably catch a bit of that. Let's talk about the Gunners playing Spurs. They're playing at Spurs. Doesn't really matter now. I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump away. Probably the nicest stadium in the world, not just world football. And we will, by the way, a guest that's coming on, the man who was the head of the construction team who built that, will be on the show very, very soon. So we'll get to talk to him. He's built incredible stadiums. Him and his team, of course, not on his own. He's not just a rinky-dink guy who just advertises on Facebook. He's the real deal. And they've built great stadia around the world. I was just saying, I love grown-ups, right? And in a good news, bad news, you ever had your friends come up to you and say, all right, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? I've got good news. I've got bad news. Which do you want first? You know what I always say? Give me the bad news. I'm a grown-up. Give me the bad news. I'm grown. Let's get it out the way. Let me swallow the bitter pill and let's go from there. Right? But life's easy when it's good news. Give me the bad news up front. So Arsenal fans need to be grown-ups. Grow up. Right? It's big boy world now. Grow up. Because you know who doesn't who receives bad news and cries about it, right? It's children. Children say, "Mommy, daddy, brother, sister, tell me this and that," and then they don't like the answer and they go, "No, I don't like it," and they throw a strop. Right? The world is as it is, not how you want it to be. I'm sorry to break it. Arsenal fans need to grow up. They've been children, petulant children for the last decade. All right? Bad news, good news. Give me the bad news. I'm a grown-up. Let's get on with life. I don't do fluff. Don't give me fluff. I was thinking, no, shut up and tell me the bad news. Let's move on. Let's deal with it, and we're going to be fine. All right? This weekend, Spurs are going to trounce Arsenal. Right? They're going to trounce them. It's going to get ugly. I'll give you my score at the end. But accept this. Arteta is not the problem. Arteta is not the problem. Accept that now and swallow that bitter pill. Every game must come with the asterisk. Arteta is not the problem. Listen, you can't break up with your girlfriend, husband, wife, your boss every time you fight with them. You don't get a divorce every time you fight with your wife. You know who does that? Children, 17-year-olds. The world ends when Michelle fights with Sipo. Right? Stephanie and Brad fight oh my God, it's all over. He's a nightmare, or he fights with her and she's just the most terrible person alive. That's who breaks up with someone every time they fight. It's a drama every time you're phoning friends. What do grown-ups do? We're all in relationships. We all work with bosses, right? Like, I love my bosses, but you may have a boss you hate. You fight with your boss. You fight with your work colleagues. What do? Break up with them every time? No. You accept that right? Every relationship has challenges, especially when you get in a new relationship. The honeymoon, take that out. That's not real. That's not part of the relationship. That's icing. Too much icing makes you sick, right? Real relationships are going to be ugly, especially when they're new, especially when you've come out of a horrible one for 17 years, where it got messy and you started just getting overweight and both of you fell out of love with each other, and then you waited too long and you stayed for the kids and blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. It gets ugly. Arteta is not the problem. That's number one. Swallow that bitter pill. All right. Number two, Tottenham Hotspur are a better football club than you know. They've been run better for the last 10 years. They've got a better owner. They've got an involved owner. And they've got somebody after Lord Sugar. I think Lord Sugar took them as far as they could. In Daniel Levy, I've always said, is the best owner in the Premier League. Now, I think Roman Abramovich might be the best owner in world sport overall. But I think in the sort of nuts and bolts of getting a football club to where they need to be, nobody is Daniel Levy. Arsenal, accept that now. Swallow the bitter pill and say, Spurs are now at least a better club. Bigger, all right, I'll give you the trophies. We're fans, we argue with trophies. But the better football club right now, in terms of world status, Spurs are miles ahead. And I want to, like, if that's terrible news for you, I have even worse news for you. For the last 4 seasons, you have finished behind Spurs. 1 season, okay, that's an anomaly. 2 seasons, that happens. 3 seasons, man, what's going on? We're changing managers and players. 4 seasons, I'm sorry, that's an Olympic cycle. You've been trounced now. You've been trounced now. As you know, you'll always get a philosophical lesson from me. So if you'd like to look up, there is this dilemma. It's called the Thucydides trap, is what you find yourself in. And the Thucydides trap, fun fact, is back in the Peloponnesian Wars, the great Peloponnesian Wars, a guy called Thucydides wrote what is known as the first historical document, right? And in the Thucydides trap, what the Thucydides trap is, it is the moment, right, when you've all seen the movie 300. It is when the Athenians, right, were there were these rebels and this warrior sort of state. It was coming up. Right, and these great warriors, the Athenians had the power, and then you had these warriors come along. And that moment when the incumbent, the one that is the most powerful, there's that moment when sort of the new kids in town pass by that power and ascend. They become the ascendant. In that moment, there's always friction in that moment. And you can feel Spurs going past Arsenal now, and there is tension. That is called the Thucydides trap. In that tension moment, when the incumbent is obviously ascended, when the incumbent is crushed by the new power, the Thucydides trap. You feel that happening in North London, and it's ugly because if you go and read anything about the Peloponnesian Wars, ugly. It's ugly. People in power have never said, hey, you know what? All this power, all this money, all this control, let me give it back to you. Arsenal don't like what's happening, but for the last 10 years, it's been coming. For the last 4 years, it has certainly happened. I have terrible news for Arsenal fans. Be grown-ups. Swallow the bitter pill. Arteta is not the problem, and Spurs are now a better football club than you. Bigger, I'll let you debate that. Yeah, that's drunk guy at the pub debate. What I will not debate, though, is that in the last 4 seasons, Spurs have finished above you, and they are going to finish above you this season. That's 5 seasons in a row now. North London is white. Grow up. If you're an Arsenal fan, I'm tired of Arsenal fans. Be grown-ups. Grown-ups swallow bitter pills. The world is as it is, not how you want it to be. What you cannot afford to do this weekend when Spurs beat you 3-1, right? Because you don't. Arsenal are dead right now. There's a big problem somewhere. Do not fire the coach. I've said this before. I'll say it again. If Arsenal fire Mikel Arteta, you are now the club that fires people. I'll tell you what you can do then. Forget Massimo Allegri, right? And forget Pochettino. Because now, and I've said it before, and if it's your first time listening, I'll say it just one more. Again, I'll keep saying it because the truth is always the same old story. First divorce, that's okay. She was crazy. Second divorce, stepkids, they brought some baggage from the last relationship, so I'll give you that. Third divorce, that's a you problem. You fire a third manager within 4 years, right? That's an Arsenal problem. And then you start having to say, Allegri starts going, I don't like that because I want to build a culture. Cultures take 2-3 years to build. Pochettino says, I've already been fired from 2 clubs where I tried to change the culture. I'm not doing it again. Right? The owner is nowhere. I have no one. Who am I reporting to? Don't fire Arteta. Swallow the bitter pill for 2 years. So this season, next season, and then after next season, you judge him for what he is. Maybe the project isn't working then. Spurs are going to beat you 3-1 this weekend, and it's going to be ugly because look up and down the field. There is nowhere where you outdo Spurs. Pace, power, technical, and the coaching side, you're trounced everywhere. It's all over. 3-1 this weekend, but don't panic. Accept the fact that Spurs are a better club right now. You are in an awful place, and you are rebuilding. Accept that you're going to be somewhere between 8th and 10th this season. That's where Arsenal are going to finish. Accept it now. Be grown-ups. Stop being children. The world is as it is, not how you want it to be. Those are my thoughts for the weekend. Man, there's so much cool sport coming this week. Cannot wait. Whoever you support, wherever you are this weekend, enjoy it. Have a great time. Do not forget, for those of you that are into the pugilist version of things, people ask me all the time, when are you going to talk about UFC? Be honest, don't watch it. I watch the big fights, maybe catch the highlights on Twitter, but I'm a boxing guy. Right? I'm a pure pugilist guy. One of the greatest sporting moments I ever had in my life, watching Lennox Lewis lose to Hasim Rahman, a great present from an uncle of mine, who, if you don't know, also people right now, they love boxing, by the way. They absolutely love boxing. In the Xhosa world, football is 4th or 5th. It's rugby, boxing, probably athletics, and then you get into football and your traditional sport. So Danny Swift Garcia takes on arguably the pound for pound greatest in the world right now, Errol Spence. Errol Spence Jr. had that terrible accident. We'll see how it goes. Danny Swift Garcia has not fought for a long time, so I'm really looking forward to that fight. Look forward to that. Look forward to all the sport on the weekend. Look forward to being with you on Monday again. Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, though, I'm MKT. You could have been anywhere with anybody tonight, but you chose to be with us, and that is an honor. Remember, before you go, push like. If you don't like the show, this didn't even happen. Just live your life. Get back to fighting with your partner or whatever you're doing. Cutting your toenails. I don't know what people are doing on Friday nights. I don't know. I don't know what people do. But I'm MKT. This is Cliff Central Sport, the MKT Show. Ladies and gentlemen, for now, we are the hell out of here.